So what you saw there was Donald Trump's plane next to a Russian embassy staff plane right there at Dulles Airport. Donald Trump gave a speech in Virginia on Friday, and coincidentally or not so coincidentally, their planes in plain sight were lined up right there. Trump's plane and the Russian embassy plane right there. I want to give a hat tip to Andrew Layden, whose handle is @Penguin6, also on YouTube @Penguin6, a freelance reporter for capturing that, doing better work than lots of other media outlets out there. And you saw the video that he took there. You see the photo right there, doing some more digging on this aviation website. It talked about how this Russian plane was under mysterious circumstances heading to the United States. And this was written before that video that was captured of that Russian embassy plane next to Donald Trump's plane. I want to show you right here what this article said. It says, Russian government jet flies to New York and Washington. And this was written before that freelance journalist captured the video I showed you at the beginning. It says a Russian government aircraft is currently operating an interesting mission to the United States. While seeing this plane at an airport could understandably be confusing, given the sanctions in place, there's a logical explanation. But this was before it was found next to Donald Trump's plane. Yesterday, this was June 26, 2024, a Russian-built Ilyushin 96-300 belonging to the Russian government fleet flew from Moscow to New York JFK. The plane, which has the registration code RA-96019, is roughly 15 years old and operated with the flight number RSD738. The journey took 11 hours and 58 minutes, which is significantly longer than it would have been if the plane could have just flown directly. However, that's not possible due to airspace restrictions against Russian registered aircraft. The aircraft first flew almost directly north before turning west over Finland and Sweden in order to avoid the European Union, and then flying southwest, avoiding Canada. You can see the flight path right here of this Russian government jet's flight from Moscow to New York. The plane landed in New York at 2:05 p.m. Then at 4:55 p.m., the aircraft continued its journey to Washington IAD. That flight took a total of 50 minutes, and the aircraft touched down there at 5:45 p.m. I imagine the aircraft will be returning to Russia this evening, though I guess we'll find out soon enough. Well, it actually did not go back that evening. It waited. It was there through the 28th, and you saw it right there next to Donald Trump's plane at Dulles International Airport. It says, what's the purpose of this flight? Was the question that was being asked before that connection was made. Of course, under normal circumstances, a Russian jet would be banned from flying a route from Moscow to New York to Washington. So what is the purpose of this itinerary, and why is an exception being granted? Well, it hasn't been officially confirmed. It's almost certain that this plane is transporting Russian diplomats. It's interesting to note that a year ago to the day, on June 27th, 2023, the same kind of plane performed a flight from Moscow to the United States, also with stops in New York and Washington. So I imagine the timing isn't a coincidence, and that some Russian diplomats are being cycled, with some arriving in the United States and others leaving. Presumably there's a limit to how long they could stay in the United States, and that limit is being reached. Even beyond these more routine flights, there have been some other exciting flights to the United States by Russian military jets since the country's invasion of Ukraine in March 2022. A Russian government jet flew from St. Petersburg to Washington. That flight had a more exciting backstory, as its purpose was to pick up 12 expelled Russian intelligence operatives from the Russian mission who were accused of espionage. An Ilyushin, this is the plane 96-300, belonging to the Russian government, is currently operating in this mission. And by the way, you see right here, that's like their version of their Air Force One. You see here Putin in a very similar plane. It's a $504 million Russian version of an Air Force One, not nearly anywhere nice as it, but that's the kind of plane that was right next to Donald Trump's airplane right there. By the way, it should be noted that at the debate that took place the day before Donald Trump went to Virginia and gave a speech, Donald Trump talks about having communications with Vladimir Putin and what Vladimir Putin was telling him. And notice it sounds like this was in the present tense, that he was having communications with Putin recently about Ukraine. Here, play this clip.
When Putin saw that, he said, you know what? I think we're going to go in and maybe take this was his dream. I talked to him about it, his dream. The difference is he never would have invaded Ukraine, never.
And when Donald Trump recently spoke at CPAC, he also says that he talks to Putin a lot in present tense. Here, play this clip.
I talk to Putin a lot. I got along with him well.
Sleep is the foundation of our mental and physical health. When you are sleeping well, you can perform at your best mentally and physically. Introducing Beam's Dream Powder, a science-backed healthy hot cocoa for sleep. If you know me, you know that Dream has been an absolute game changer for my sleep. I drink Beam's Dream Powder each night in order to get my optimal sleep, and I have to say, I would not be recommending this if it didn't actually help me. And today, my listeners get a special discount on Beam's Dream Powder, their science-backed healthy hot cocoa for sleep with no added sugar. Better sleep has never tasted better. Now available in delicious flavors like chocolate peanut butter, cinnamon cocoa, and sea salt caramel with only 15 calories and 0 grams of sugar. Other sleep aids could cause next day grogginess, but Dreams contains a powerful all-natural blend of reishi, magnesium, L-theanine, melatonin, and nano CBD to help you fall asleep, stay asleep, and wake up refreshed. The numbers don't lie. In a clinical study, 93% of participants reported Dream helped them get better sleep. Beam Dream is easy to add to your nighttime routine. Just mix Dream into hot water or milk, froth, and enjoy before bed. Find out why Forbes and New York Times are all talking about Beam and why it's trusted by the world's top athletes and business professionals. If you want to try Beam's best-selling Dream Powder, get up to 40% off for a limited time when you go to shopbeam.com/Meidas and use code Meidas at checkout. That's shopbeam.com/MEIDAS and use code Meidas for up to 40% off.
At a recent speech that Donald Trump gave, the speech that Donald Trump gave in Friday, rather, when the airplanes were right next to each other, when Trump's plane right next to Putin's Russian embassy plane right there, Trump says that Americans who don't support him are a worse enemy than dictators like Putin and Kim Jong-un. Play this clip.
China, Russia, North Korea, enemies, but they're not really enemies if you have a smart president. If you have a smart president, they're not enemies. You'll make them do great. We had no problems. China paid us hundreds of billions of dollars, and it was so because they respected our country. Thank you very much. He said they respected you. Thank you. Stand up, please. Who said that? Stand up. Because they respected us. You said it better than I could. Thank you. I plagiarized. Thank you. No, they respected us. There was no games. But we have the enemy on the outside, and you can do great things with them. And then we have a worse enemy. I call it the enemy from within.
And let's again not forget that the first visit to the White House were the Russians when Donald Trump was in office. And remember, he held a private meeting with them where he gave the Russians our classified information. I know this doesn't get enough attention anymore. I mean, I guess the media wants to give Donald Trump a pass. Donald Trump can be found liable for sexual assault, be a convicted felon. His organization can become a convicted felon. Donald Trump could be found liable for civil fraud. Donald Trump could steal national defense information when he leaves, steal our nuclear codes. And we know, it's undisputed. Donald Trump bragged about giving classified information to the Russians in 2017. You remember these tweets? That's what Donald Trump said he did. But here it is, May 15, 2017, Trump revealed highly classified information to Russian foreign minister and ambassador. Trump spoke to Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov and Ambassador to the U.S. Sergei Kislyak and this is about the terror threat, they went to the back room where Trump wouldn't allow any of his own staff. No American interpreters were there. And Donald Trump met with them privately, and they took photos in the Oval Office, basically mocking our country. And of course, Donald Trump, when he was running for office, said, Russia, if you are listening, steal documents from my political opponent. Play this clip.
Russia, if you're listening, I hope you're able to find the 30,000 emails that are missing. I think you will probably be rewarded mightily by.
Trump always applauds the Putin and Xi and authoritarians as being smart. Play this clip.
I used to talk to Putin. I got along well with Putin. I used to talk to Putin about it. It's something he certainly had in his mind, never even talked about it. For 4 years, you didn't even hear about it. As soon as I was out or left, or however you want to describe that catastrophe, they started putting soldiers on the border. But even then, he didn't want to do it. He wanted to get a peace. Now it looks like he'll end up probably getting the whole thing. But I've never seen anything like it, what's happened. And if you saw the other day with President Xi, smart, top of his game. President Putin, smart, very smart people, standing there talking about the world order for the next 100 years. That's one of the saddest things you can imagine, one of the saddest.
And here's another one saying that Putin and Xi are at the top of their game. Play this clip.
Xi of China, when you see Kim Jong-un of North Korea, when you see Putin and you see all of these people, they're at the top of their game, whether you like it or not, and they can't believe that this has happened to the United States.
Then, of course, there was that embarrassing, one of the most humiliating moments in American history in Helsinki, where Donald Trump sided with Vladimir Putin over the United States intelligence community. Play this clip.
Would you now, with the whole world watching, tell President Putin, would you denounce what happened in 2016, and would you warn him to never do it again?
My people came to me, Dan Coates came to me, and some others. They said they think it's Russia. I have President Putin. He just said it's not Russia. I will say this. I don't see any reason why it would be. So I have great confidence in my intelligence people. But I will tell you that President Putin was extremely strong and powerful in his denial today.
So yes, when you have Trump's plane directly next to the Russian Air Force One at Dulles Airport in Virginia, where Donald Trump was giving a speech, I think that raises lots of red flags. Some other notable things about Donald Trump's airplane. Donald Trump had Epstein on his airplane, and in an article that was written about from New York Magazine, it said, remembering the time Jeffrey Epstein would ride on Donald Trump's plane, they boarded with young women of indeterminate age. I wouldn't be able to tell you if she was 15 or 20. She was quite dressed up and quite made up, so it was hard to tell. Donald Trump recently sold one of his private jets to one of his mega donors for an undisclosed amount. Unclear if that was part of any quid pro quo. And then speaking about this jet back in 2023, Trump said his private jet LLC was worth no more than $1,000. Then in July, he said it was worth $25 million. Two sets of Trump 2023 financial disclosures on Yahoo Finance show vastly different valuations for a number of Trump entities. The first disclosure, April 2023, was Trump's required filing as a candidate. The second one in July was a revised statement. TAG Air Inc., the company, is one of the entities associated with Trump's Boeing 757. In an April filing with the Office of Government Ethics, Trump claimed that TAG Air had a value of $1,000 or less. Then in a revised July filing, Trump valued TAG Air at between $5 million and $25 million. In the mere 3 months that elapsed between the two disclosures, Trump's estimate of TAG Air's value jumped by a factor of 5,000 or more. It's unclear what prompted Trump's accountants to make such a drastic change. Stephen Chung, a spokesperson for Trump's campaign, did not respond to questioning. But there you have it. Hat tip one more time to Andrew Layden, the freelance reporter who got that photo and got the video of Trump plane at Dulles parked next to the Russian embassy staff plane right there. You see it right there for yourself, people. We're going to call it out here on the MeidasTouch Network. Hit subscribe. We're on our way to 3 million subscribers thanks to your support.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Meidas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.